Hello everyone, welcome to Gardening by the Bay. And today it's at Mayfield Gardens with our host, Andrea McCaffrey, who you may already know. Mayfield has been in the gardening business for many years, and most of us have already shopped here dozens of times. But today the real focus is Andrea's going to take us through the beginnings, the very basic beginnings of gardening, starting with all your seeds, how to plant them, and how to get them to a point where they're a live, flourishing, viable plant ready for your garden. So welcome to you, and thank you for having us down here today.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
And you've got all sorts of things already set up. Let's go with the basics here. We see you've got trays, but they're different heights, set up with soil already.
The reason they're different heights is because what I've done with these is I'm going to show you how to sow in what we call an open flat, that I'm just going to sprinkle the seeds over here. These are 6-packs, so that when they're empty, they basically look like you would purchase them like this.
Okay.
You add the soil, and you just put them in the tray for stability and stuff. The thing with this is the drainage. Now, if you're growing these in the house, these trays, like this, come with holes in the bottom.
Okay.
There is some that don't have holes. So if you're growing in your house on your dining room table, you don't want drainage.
No, you definitely
So you don't want to, you don't want to ruin grandma's table and stuff. So just keep in mind, there's with holes or without, and just be careful which ones you pick up.
But your actual pot, the planter pot, does have to have holes. It has to have drainage.
It should, because anytime you don't have drainage with any plants, it doesn't do well.
You're just going to get
well, because everybody overwaters.
Okay.
Kills them with kindness.
And something I want you to talk about perhaps a little later is damping off.
Yes.
That has a lot to do with water. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, back to square one.
Okay, so these are leeks that can be planted early. Leeks, I don't know, it's kind of an onion type crop. Right. So basically when you're sowing in an open flat, you just open your seed pack, and we'll keep stressing that all the information that you need is on the back of the packages. You can ask any of our staff and we'll help you with that. But any information that you need of when to start, how far to space them, or any of that stuff is on the pack. So basically they're really tiny seeds like this. Mm-hmm. If you're really talented, you can kind of just go like this, and you're just trying to shake them evenly over the pack. I mean, you can't really even see them. You can thin them out later. So you just kind of shake them off, So there's your whole pack. And what I would usually do like this is with this particular one, you're just going to cover them very, very lightly.
Okay, you're not going to try to
you're not going to poke these seeds in. For one thing, once I put them in the soil, you can't see them.
Okay.
They're All right. So you just need a little bit of coating, and that's just going to help to hold some moisture in.
Okay.
So just a little thin coating, and that's all it's going to need. Then you're going to take your sprayer, mist them down. Before you start too, Mary, your soil should be damp before you start. You don't want to have dry soil down and then put seeds on it. Okay. Because, it just really makes a big difference.
And when you say soil, do you buy a bag of something?
Yeah, you buy a good starting. Now, whether it's from here or anywhere else, always start with a good soil. And soil, I say that, there's no true soil in it. It's a peat moss base. It's geared for seed starting.
Okay. Not the same as potting soil.
You can use potting soil if you're careful with your water, but this is kind of geared more so that it,
Okay.
So that it works better for the seeds.
And
so
all these little white things?
The little white thing is perlite.
Okay.
And what perlite helps for is to keep it so your soil doesn't compact down.
Okay.
Because believe it or not, the roots need air.
Okay.
In order to germinate and to grow healthy roots, they need air. So, it all has perlite in there. It has a little charge in there to help it start to grow and stuff. So you just lightly mist them down because your soil's damp to start with. Lightly just mist them down. So once you've misted them down a little bit, don't make them sop and don't overwater. That's the biggest thing is don't kill them with kindness. You'd want them, and then you're going to put a cover on the top.
Okay.
And what the cover does,
that's what I was going to say,
is this helps hold the moisture so that the seeds don't dry out, that the top of the soil doesn't dry out, and it just helps you so that you're not out there misting it 4 or 5 times a day.
Okay.
You want to periodically change this. This will fog up with the condensation stuff, so it will fog up. If you don't have one of these domes, use some saran wrap. Okay. If you want. I just find these easier to pick them up, to check them, because First thing, especially new gardeners are going to pick this up about 20 times a day to see if they've sprouted yet.
Yeah. And is it all right then for the condensation to allow it to drop back into the
Absolutely, because what that does is that helps keeps it moist.
Keeping it consistent.
Yep.
All right.
Yep, that keeps it, going like that.
Okay.
Like I said, take it off. If you're finding that the soil's getting too wet by this, just slide your tray back a little bit so you're letting a little air.
Okay.
So that you're not building up so much condensation.
Let's open the window a bit.
Yep, basically open your window.
And then I might be jumping ahead, but are you going to stick this in your kitchen window? Where are you going to?
You're going to stick it wherever the brightest spot that you got. Now, if you've got, all you've got is window light, south side, sunny as you can get it. Just be careful with putting anything, like if your window's right here, especially if you're starting stuff early, try not to put them right against your window.
Is it cold at night?
Well, it's cold at night, so that soil's going to cool.
Yep.
So try to get them down, but have them in a south-facing window, sunny as you can get it. Don't have that, then you're good into grow lights.
And okay, let's do grow lights in more detail after. But if you're just doing one tray, it's no big deal. But if you're going to plant like a humongous garden venture for the summer, do you recommend grow lights?
It depends on your location. If you've got a greenhouse, luckily we're right now in a 30 by 100 foot greenhouse. Most people don't have those.
Most people don't.
If you've got a small greenhouse that you're willing to heat, which can be a problem.
If you've got a kitchen.
And
you've just cleared off the kitchen table.
Then you can do that as long as you can get that table to where it is nice and sunny and bright. I said, if you're only going to do 1 or 2 trays, then you're fine inside and you don't have to worry about it. If you're going to do hundreds of trays, you're not going to want them all over the house because you're not going to get enough light.
Okay. And the temperature control is also very
important. The temperature controls, if you're comfortable, then they're comfortable. Okay. We heat to roughly about 65 to 70 degrees. Sorry, I don't know metric. And that's generally a good starting. Again, on the seed pack, it will tell you. Some of them, it will say, germinate at 80 degrees if it's a tough seed or something it might be. And in that case, you might want to put a heat tray, a heat mat underneath.
Pad. Okay, all right.
And that will help keep that soil even warmer.
All right.
Yeah. So this one here, I thought we'd just start some basil seeds. And I'm going to direct sow this because I was lazy and I wanted to pick. These ones are called So Easy. And what they are is the seeds have been wrapped in a clay, basically a little clay, so that you can see them when you put them in.
I was going to say, I've never seen green basil seeds before.
Usually what people call them is pelletized seeds. So the carrot seeds come this way and everything. So they're kind of green. They are mixed with a coating of clay. Mm-hmm. And so what I want to do, because I'm going to do basil, and I want like 3 or 4 plants in each little cell. Okay. Because one basil plant gets, So I would just direct sow these right in here. I mean, just roughly. Do your thing, and we kind of do whatever, but you try to get 3 or 4 in each one and go from there.
Because later on, if you've got too many, if they all grow in one pot, you're going to coach us on thinning.
But when you want to put these out in a pot after they get bigger, you still want 3 or 4 little plants.
Okay.
It just makes a better basil plant because they can get a little kind of skinny. Okay. And then what you do is you just go like this. For any spots you might have missed. You're just going to do this. So, and again, this is just covering the seeds. Again, on the seed packet, it's going to say how deep to plant them. Okay. I just happen to know that this one, you don't want them down too far. Usually, rule of thumb, the smaller the seed, the less you want to cover them.
That's right, because even larger seeds, you usually only put them in about the same depth of the seed.
That's right. Yeah. So I've got those all covered. Again, you'd missed them, and you'd do the same thing. You can, so the same thing, and then you can cover these once they sprout. Yes. Take the covers off.
Okay. Now, describe sprout. What's your version of sprout?
The sprout. First, you're going to see a little bit of greens coming up. Yes. Just a little bit thing of green. Everybody gets all excited or whatever, and then you're going to get 2 little leaves come out. Yes. Of the sprout. Those are not true leaves. Those are called seed leaves, and what it is if you took this little tiny seed, everything it needs in there is to grow. So when those first 2 little leaves come out, that's the energy that this seed needs to flourish. So don't do anything with them. You'll get those 2 little leaves, and then all of a sudden you'll see another little sprout come out, and then you'll have 2 more leaves come out.
Okay.
Those are called true leaves.
Yes.
So you wouldn't want to ever do any transplanting or dealing with anything until those true leaves come out.
Okay.
And that's, so it's almost like the second set.
All right. And it varies how long it takes for those to produce.
Yes.
It varies by the type of plant seed you've
Exactly.
planted.
These leeks might be 3 weeks before they come up.
Okay.
This might come up in 3 days.
Okay. Perfect.
You know, it
So-
really depends on your heat, your light, and all
right.
that good stuff with it.
And your package, if you follow the directions.
If you
or
follow
not.
your package, it's going to tell you how deep, if you can direct sow it, if you can, you know, so everything you need is on this.
On the package. Okay. And your staff is always available for help.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
The
now,
other thing was
these,
this.
Yes. What are these
Well,
little?
these are called Jiffy pucks or pellets. People will call them pucks, pellets. This is how they start.
Oh,
This thin, and then when you add water, they do this.
fabulous.
So it goes from this
And how long does it take to go to that
10,
height?
15 minutes.
Oh, my soul. Terrific.
So what I did with these, and why don't
and
we-
each one has a seed in it?
No, I haven't done anything with them.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to use this as a kind of a little. So
All right.
what it is one end is enclosed and the other one's kind of got a little hole in the top.
Right.
And so what you'd do, you'd use these for any seeds that don't like the roots disturbed when you're transplanting them outside. I just happen to use sweet peas because they're bigger and you can see them.
Yes, and they're wonderful.
And they're wonderful. So
Fabulous.
you're just going to drop a seed or 2 in each hole like that and leave them. That's it. That's all you got to do. Just go around and, do you want to try some?
Sure.
These ones over here don't have any. Yeah, well, we're missing, but that's okay.
That's all right.
So, and then basically what you do, same thing. You can keep it misted.
But you
Your seeds are in
don't
the-
do the sprinkle the earth thing.
Nope,
No?
nope, it's all in there. It will do its thing. Give it a water. Just keep these things evenly moist. They will come up, you know, and when it's time to put them outside, dig your whole pot, that whole thing in. This is a biodegradable.
Okay.
So you're not disturbing its roots when you put it in. And they're ready to go just like that. Sunflowers is a good one that I do all my sunflowers for our gardens here in these because
Okay.
they don't like to have their roots.
That's right.
Yep, yep.
Yes, because that is a key thing about so many young plants is they want to grow once. They don't want to be moved around.
They don't like to have their feet disturbed or whatever.
That's right.
So it's quite amazing when you watch one of these because if you do these with kids, they'll sit there and watch them. And all this is in here is peat moss.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, fabulous. And then where do these come in a package?
We sell them loose. We sell them loose for like 35 cents each or something like that.
Okay.
Or you sometimes can see them in packages. We do ours so that people can, you know what, I got 10 seeds, I want 10, and then we just sell them individually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So the other thing that you can, what I call kind of direct sow, and this is just cat grass. Everybody's been looking at for cat grass. We don't tend to start it here because it's so easy. So you just buy a pack of seeds, sprinkle it on the top. Same thing like that. Cover it a bit. So this is, and I'm putting these in like in a 4-inch pot, just because you're going to leave them in there for a while.
Okay.
Pat it down a little bit, and you've just planted cat grass. This will come up fairly quick.
Oh, and of course, being a grass, you're not going to take out individual
You're not going to do
plants.
anything. You're going to just grow this in here for the cats to eat through the winter when they're, you know, instead of eating your houseplants maybe. So
You wish.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you've got that. Keep it evenly moist. Water it. Sunny window.
Okay.
Within a week you'll have grass.
All right. And can that particular grass, can it be transplanted
No,
outside?
once it's done, it's done. The cat will
Okay.
gnaw it down, start some more. I mean, you've got a lot of seeds in here.
Okay.
You could get, one pack would probably do you all winter.
Oh.
If you want, if you have an indoor cats, you can do
Okay.
it throughout.
Let's pretend that these plants that we just planted these seeds, and let's move on to what's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks once some of the leaves start showing up.
Okay.
So a couple of weeks have gone by, and we have some lovely things sprouting in our little containers here. And we've been faithful. We've been watering,
Yes.
not too much.
Yeah.
What's the next step?
Well, we're going to pretend, this is our little pretend plant that it's kind of grown up. So we've now got enough growth there that now's the time to start fertilizing.
Oh, you
Yeah.
would fertilize
You
even
would fertilize.
seedlings.
You can
Okay.
really start fertilizing anytime after you get your second sets of leaves.
Okay.
And you would fertilize with something that's got a high middle number. The fertilizers all have three
Yes.
numbers on them.
because of the three components in it.
That's right. The
Nitrogen,
easiest
phosphate,
way to
yeah.
remember this, and this might help some people, is the first numbers for up,
Okay,
the middle numbers for down,
okay.
and the last numbers for all around. So it's up,
Down,
down,
all
all
around.
around. So what you want for seed starting, because you want it to put good root development out, you want something with a high middle number. This one happens to be 105210.
Okay.
So it's got a nice high middle number. That's why it's a transplanter. So you're going to water these with the fertilizer. Oh, I'm going to say probably every week to 10 days with fertilizer mixed in with your water.
And you're going to read the label.
You're going to read the label to say how much to
and
put
get
in.
the right ratio.
That's right, because everybody has a different size container.
That's right. And if it's too strong, you'll burn the root.
That's right. That's right. If you find that your plants aren't growing quite the way you want, or maybe if they're a little bit yellow, what you can do is water probably maybe twice a week or twice every 10 days, but at half strength.
Okay.
Don't think with fertilizer that, oh, a little did really well, I'm going to add more.
No.
Because you're asking for problems. So every 10 days at full strength, or half, if you want to do half the strength and do it twice within like every 5 days.
Okay.
That helps even your fertilizer rates out.
Do you pinch the plants back or
but
do anything like that?
But you
or-
can, if you're getting plants there leggy, depending on the plant.
Yes.
Because then again, it will probably say on the seed pack, if you're getting something, usually flowers mainly, you can come in here and you can pinch these right off. And what pinching it does is for every place you pinched, you're going to get 2 pieces come out,
Okay.
if not 3. So instead of having a long, skinny, scrawny plant that's floppy, you've now got 2 coming out of here and maybe 2 more coming there, and that helps make that plant be more bushy.
Okay.
You're not going to want to do that when it's too young, when they get bigger, and especially before you plant them out, because it's like if you were doing petunias and they're leggy
Yes.
with you, if they got
Stringy.
long, stringy, just clip them off,
Okay.
and then that will help bulk them up.
And does that improve the roots as
Absolutely.
well? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll have a much nicer plant than this big stringy thing hanging down and all your flowers are down here.
Okay.
You'll get it more condensed.
And again, light will affect that stringy quality
That's
too,
right.
won't it? Okay.
If you notice your stuff getting leggy, especially tomatoes, you're going to need more light. If you don't have that ability to get more light on it, tomatoes is the only crop that when you plant it out, you can lay it on its side.
Oh yes.
Yep.
Done that many times.
That's
Yep.
a different thing. The biggest mistake everybody makes when they do plant their seeds is they start way too early. So don't start too early, because if you don't have enough sunlight, that's what's going to make them go leggy on you.
And plus, you've got to wait till the ground outside is at an appropriate temperature.
Exactly.
If you take
exactly.
them from your nice, cozy, heated room. And
That's right. You're
put
going to
them
want to
in-
harden them off first
Okay.
before you put them out. And in order to harden them off, you've got them in your house, nice and warm. I would usually take them outside for, say an hour the first couple days. But
Okay.
you're going to want to put them in a place where they're not going to get wind burnt.
Windburnt, and you don't want high sun.
You don't want sun on
You don't
them.
want the noon
Because
high
you're
sun.
thinking of
Okay.
taking a newborn baby and putting it out in the yard with no clothes on.
Yeah.
You
Ooh.
don't want to burn it. So,
No.
so the first few days, 2 or 3 days, you would go out and leave it out an hour, maybe 2
Okay.
or something like
And
that.
it's
Then you
somewhat
slowly,
sheltered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you slowly increase.
Okay.
Wind and sun would be your worst damage on them.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, because in a hot sun, a noontime sun, your leaves will fry within half an hour.
Yeah, they would. Mhm.
Yeah. We've made great progress here. We've gone from the bare bones, and now we've actually got some magically little
magically.
plants growing. We know how to pinch them back prior to putting them outside. But there are some types of seeds that you really don't want to plant indoors. You can't start them indoors.
Yeah.
They won't do well. And other seeds need treatment before you can plant them either inside or outside.
That's correct.
All right,
Yeah.
and we got fabulous nasturtiums. They're
Yeah.
just great. Tell us about these and how
Yeah.
we should handle them.
Well, now nasturtiums is one of the seeds. Quite a few of them you can what we call direct sow. Again, going to be on the back of the package, and you're going to put these right in the ground. They don't need to be started inside. Some of them prefer, again, information on the back of the pack, so they can just plant them as soon as the weather's right for them. Again, it will tell you whether you need to do that before the frost or a couple weeks later or whatever. The other thing is sometimes you'll notice on some of the backs of the seed packs that the seed prefers to be notched or stratified. And what that is the seed's got a really hard seed coating on it.
Okay.
So you need to scratch that seed coating off in order for that little sprout to try to make its way out. And some people will take a little pair of fingernail clippers and just try to clip a little bit in the seed coating.
Okay. You don't want to slice it.
You don't want to slice it open. You're just trying to make a little slit. The easiest way, probably the safest way, is to take an emery board and sandpaper it.
Perfect.
Until you just get down. You can feel once you've broken through that little seed tray. And I mean, these are little tiny seeds, so it's going to be hard to feel. But you just want to make a little groove in that seed so that that little baby can find its way out through that hard seed coating.
All right.
Yeah.
And there are additional seeds that actually have to go through a freezing process.
That's correct.
And some of those,
they want to be basically go dormant, if you would. And again, that's on the back of the seed pack. They'll want to be either chilled in the fridge, or some of them might even want to be frozen.
Okay.
And it will tell you like freeze 2 weeks before you plant or whatever. And that's just different plants all require different preps in order to start.
Yep. And I know that in particular in relation to the mallow for the monarch butterflies.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the swamp mallow and different ones.
That's correct.
All right.
Yeah.
And you have all these seeds available?
Oh, I have four. We carry 4 seed companies.
4 seed
companies.
So
there's all kinds of different varieties there, right from the beginners to the a little bit more experienced. Flowers, vegetables, herbs, all kinds of different stuff. So, yeah.
Would your recommendation be start small? Oh
gosh, yes. Don't go out and buy $200 or $300 worth of seeds until you kind of master it. Start with some easier things like basil.
Yes.
Start with some basil.
Radishes.
Radishes because they don't want to transplant.
Oh, that's true.
Unless because at root crops you don't tend to start inside.
Okay.
Because they don't want their roots. If you do want to start root crops inside, do it in your little pellet things.
Okay.
Because then you don't have to disturb the roots. So.
Or in a big planter.
In a big plant. Oh, you can grow anything that you want to grow outside can be grown in a large container.
Okay. Perfect.
Even corn. If your container's big enough, you can grow corn.
Well, that could be just handy dandy.
It certainly could. If you've got a small space, take a container, throw some lettuce seeds in like one corner of it, throw some carrots in another, a little bit of radish. You're good to go.
Yeah, and that way too, people can have little bits of crops indoors.
That's right.
All through the off season as well.
That's right. Yeah. You can do that year round.
Okay.
Yeah, you could do that round as long as you got the sun and the light and willing to water.
Okay, excellent. Now Mayfields, I know, started an awful long time ago, 40 or more years.
Yes.
And the reason it's called Mayfield Gardens, as you were saying, it's because when Peter and Nora Heelis first began it, it was out in Mayfield.
Yes.
Later on, they moved down here.
Yep.
And they owned it for many years. You've been the new owner.
Yes.
Oh, how many years now? 3 or 4?
We're starting our 4th season.
Excellent. And you've made some wonderful changes, improvements. You've really expanded the repertoire, shall we say?
Yes.
So would you be kind enough? Let's go into the shop part,
Sure.
and you can give me a few pointers on everything you have.
I sure can do that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So we're out of the greenhouse where we started our little gardening adventure, but I can see of the supplies that Andrea carries for all your seed starting.
Well, we got a little bit of everything. We've got some trays. These are the lids that we had talked about that out in the garden center, out in the greenhouses there. There's bigger pots, there's small pots, and you go right down to covers, and down here we've even got these little pellet things we were talking about earlier.
That's right. So you've got a supply of those
we've got
as well.
lots of those to pick from. We've got bigger pots, what we call nursery pots, that you can upsize if you've got big tomatoes or something and you want to go into them eventually.
That's about 2 weeks after we start the seeds?
No, not quite,
Not
but
quite. Okay. And you certainly have an amazing selection here. Tell me, Andrea, man, you've just got walls and walls
We
of
do.
seeds. But are all these seeds, have you chosen them suitable for Charlotte County growing?
Yes. Yeah, everything here would be suitable for our climate. There's nothing here that's, exotic or anything, so everything here can be grown here.
Okay, because we're generally zone 5, but with
It depends on
Depending
where.
the part of the county. there's-
Exactly. St. Andrews is a bit warmer, maybe at 5B.
Yep.
Here, just a little bit more north, we're 4B. So there's a big fluctuation on what the zones are here. So
Okay.
you just have to be careful of that.
But almost invariably on the back of the package, that information is indicated.
It would if it's a perennial or whatever. Your
Yeah.
annuals will grow here no matter what.
Okay.
But on your perennials, it would tell you what zone.
Okay. Wow, you've got a tremendous selection here of additional garden supplies once we've got the seeds in the pots, but slugs are a terrible problem for many people.
Yeah, grubs have been terrible for everybody, so that's a issue. But for the most part, we've got everything here for every pest that you can kind of come up with in this region. That we've got the product to take care of it for you.
Excellent, excellent. And you have fertilizers as well?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. You have Mayfield has always had an amazing selection of gardening supplies, plants, all the equipment required, but you've really expanded your product line over the
We
years.
have, yes.
And you've got wonderful gift items, decor items, and I see that you're really branching out and
Yes.
having local products as well. Little bees who have been
The bees have been very busy. We've got 2 different companies here, and I tell you, wasn't a honey person until I tried this, and it is delicious. We
Okay.
have some goat's milk soap, and we're going with some Bubbles and Bombs products. We've got maple syrup that's going to be arriving soon. We carry Gore Farms garlic powders and some of his herbs and spices, which are
terrific. Yes.
terrific. Yes.
And bees are such a critical part of the whole environmental
That's
and
right.
gardening and farming atmosphere. Have you heard anything about whether the gardens around here are attracting more bees? And
Well, they seem to be. We've expanded that we're doing some of our own cut flowers in our own gardens, and we grow all our own pumpkins and everything here. So I'm seeing a lot more bees around our property, this property here. But yeah,
Excellent.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's been wonderful, an absolutely wonderful session with you, and I hope my little seeds grow. And we thank all of you for joining us today at Mayfield Garden, and stay tuned because there's going to be lots of new episodes on Gardening by the Bay.